I kid you not when I say foreign films make the weirdest films. Hey guys, Melinda here. We're going to be trying something different today. In my last movie review, I asked you guys if you wanted me to take out the trailers. There's always a segment in my movie reviews where we watch the trailer together and then I kind of briefly summarize what happened in the movie and then I refer back to the trailer a couple times. In today's video, I thought we won't watch a trailer just to kind of see how we like it and if we want to continue this going forward, and I personally wanted to try it as well and see if I like it better. And I thought it was very fitting for the movie that I'm going to review in this video today. Today I am going to be talking about the movie Vivarium. This was another recommendation from my friend Sarah, who also recommended Fantasy Island, which was the last movie review that I did. She kind of gets an idea of what movies I like to watch, so she recommended Vivarium to me as well. It was available on Amazon Prime, so I was able to watch it for free. I want to say I was most intrigued by this film because when she recommended it to me, I asked her, what is this movie about? She just could not answer it. She could not form it into the words, and now that I've seen the film, I understand why. And I thought it was perfect. I had never heard of this movie, I didn't see a trailer, and I purposely did not find the trailer and watch it before watching this movie, so I went in completely blind, and it was definitely a weird movie. For those who haven't seen my movie reviews, I like to review it in a way that has no spoilers. Before I get into the movie review, I just wanted to know what the word Vivarium meant, because I knew that it had to have some kind of definition that correlates with the film, which it does. The definition for the word Vivarium: an enclosure, container, or structure adapted or prepared for keeping animals under semi-natural conditions for observation or study, or as pets, an aquarium, or terrarium. Knowing the definition of vivarium, that's basically what the movie is about. It's about this couple, Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots. They are looking for a house. They stumble upon this really weird community called Yonder. They go and are looking at a house. Their tour guide leaves them and abandons them, and they get stuck in this housing complex that's huge. It goes on for miles and miles and miles, and they just cannot seem to find their way out. So they are trapped, they're enclosed, and they're being watched as if they're being studied. That is kind of the best way I can describe it without getting into the specifics of this film. Let it take note that I also still have not seen the trailer, so I don't know what is represented in that trailer to show you what this movie is about, but it's weird. Let me just state that it's weird. My first indication that this was going to be a really weird film is that at the beginning, when it is showing all of the production companies, they're all foreign production companies. I have seen tons of foreign films in my day. Foreign films are just weird. They are so weird and so out of it. I guess I could classify this as a thriller horror movie. I'm going to dive into some specifics. There are two words that come to mind when I think of this film, and that's creepy and uncomfortable. There was a series of shots at the very beginning of the film that just immediately made me unsettled and uncomfortable and not prepared for what was shown. It is metaphorical, it is symbolic of what to expect in the film, but the images that they show are just very uncomfortable. I was very confused watching it. The characters, the dialogue, the storyline, all very creepy. Again, unsettling and uncomfortable the entire time I'm watching it, which is good. Like I've mentioned in a previous movie review, if a movie can physically make you feel uncomfortable, I think it's doing something right, because it's really tapping into your inside nerves, pulling at some personal stuff that physically makes you uncomfortable and physically makes you react to this film. I like that about the film, and I think that has something going for it. One of the notes that I made about this film, the story just kind of jumps right in to this couple looking for a house. I kind of want to see a little bit more explanation to it. I kind of almost want to see them struggling with trying to find a house, and so they're just kind of looking for everything, and then they see like an advertisement for Yonder. I want some build up to it and maybe a little bit of a backstory to it versus just jumping right in. Don't get me wrong, I totally get the reasoning behind the jumping in part of it, and that's purely just to get the audience immediately immersed and to try and figure out what's going on. The writer in me really loves backstory and explanations. Just take 5 minutes and just kind of show some kind of build up to it. That's one thing that I would have loved to see in this film. The exposition that they did start with was very cute, and you get to see the couple a little bit before they go and explore Yonder. I love their dynamic, and I think they're a very cute couple. They get along really well. That is one thing that I really liked about the exposition. There is an element of the supernatural in this film. Not going to go into details because that is a huge chunk and part of this film. I just wasn't expecting the supernatural part of it, and as I was watching it, I was trying to think of like actual explanations for what's happening, and then of course I had to come to the realization of, oh, this is fiction. It doesn't have to be real. The writers can do whatever they want, which is also what creates this film to be as weird as it is. There is something that I don't like about this film. There is a progression of time within this film. I don't know if it was a stylistic choice. There is a long time that passes, but there's no hair growth. There's no indication that they've been there for a long time other than the fact that they just look so miserable and so tired. I don't know if that kind of ties in with the supernatural aspect of it, and if that was a specific choice. There is a part of this film that is open to interpretation, that maybe that time hasn't passed, or that time is moving very, very slowly. So maybe to us it seems like it's been a long time, but maybe in reality it's only been a day. I really wish that they did show that time has passed through the characters, because then it helps the audience know that it has been a while since they have been trapped in this enclosure. I'm sure that there is a reasoning behind it, but as a viewer, I wish that they put that in the film. Something else that I noted that I kind of almost wanted to see, one of the turning points of the film is that the couple starts to fight and butt heads, and they're turned against each other. In the film, they're boyfriend-girlfriend. I personally would have loved to seen a married couple. I would be very interested to see somebody who's gone through the commitment and the personal love of a marriage, just to see how they would react differently. And I think actually it would enhance the story so much more, because you know that these two are connected. When it's just boyfriend and girlfriend, you haven't quite made that commitment to spend the rest of your lives together yet, so it's a lot easier to distance and separate yourselves from each other. So that's why I really wanted to see a married couple. It would just make the fighting so much more dramatic and intense. That's just a personal thing that I would have loved to see. It doesn't take anything away from the film. I just think that if that little detail had changed, it could have added so much more to this film. There is one thing that I think I don't really like about this film. It creates so many unanswered questions. Like I mentioned before, I'm big on backstory, explanations, the why and how. I need to know these things, because that's what creates a really good story. Because if you don't have all that, then you get the result of this film. Creates a lot of questions, makes me very upset, can create plot holes. It just feels like the writers were like, oh, let's throw this in and this in and this in, and we won't explain it. It's just gonna be an entity in this film and it's going to exist. It was just kind of thrown in there. There's no explanation. You just kind of throw this into the story, but you don't explain how it ties in, what it represents, if it's symbolic of something else. They were just throwing things in for the heck of it. Just like, it's art. It's open for interpretation. Good luck. One thing that, especially with this film, I'm always trying to guess the ending throughout. The story arcs, the characters, I'm just always trying to guess what's going to happen. I could not do that with this film because they're just throwing these random things in there that I felt made no sense to the film. It did not correlate. There was one thing that I did predict that was correct. They did a very good job at hinting towards it and letting the audience figure out for themselves. And that's pretty much it for all of my notes. Everything else is specific to scenes and moments and characters, and I can't talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. After I watched the film, I did find an article from the director. Basically what the article said is that the director said that everything involving this movie is meant to be open for interpretation. He doesn't want to give like a definitive answer of this is what this meant, this is the meaning. You as the audience member get to pick what happened. I love that about a film. Leaving it open-ended and open for interpretation is amazing because that's a great artistic choice. But at the same time, that's what kind of ties in with the issues of throwing these random things into this film with no explanation and you just say it's open for interpretation. Come on, man. That's pretty much all I have to talk about. If you've seen this movie or you want me to go more into the specifics, please leave that down in the comments down below. I would love to talk about specifics about this film. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys about this, so leave it in the comments down below, as well as your suggestions and recommendations on what you want me to watch. I'm having so much fun with all these recommendations. If you like this movie review or you like the film, please give this video a big thumbs up. It would absolutely mean the world to me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already and you want to see more content. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you all for the support. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. Live life, always laugh, and enjoy the journey. Bye. In this movie.